Hey guys, happy Halloween. I hope you're having a very good night. Let's get started with this in conclusion video for the month of October. As you guys know, I chose horror books to read this month. I was quite ambitious in choosing 6 books. Thankfully and surprisingly, I finished all 6 books. I was kind of worried because of The Passage and The Curse of the Wendigo are huge, massive reads. But anyways, in this in conclusion video, I'm going to talk about the books based on their creepy, violent, graphic factor, and I'll work my way from the less creepy to the most creepy that I found anyways. Hopefully this will give you a gauge. If you're not into horror all that much, this will, kind of help you ease into the genre. So let's start off with the first book. This is the least scariest book out of the group. I don't even consider it a Halloween read. It is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, an idea inspired from Siobhan Dowd. This isn't a Halloweeny read. It has its creepy factor. On a creepy factor from 1 to 5, it's about a 2.5. I feel it's more written for a younger audience, grade school to early teens. The only thing I was a bit disappointed by was the predictability factor. I was hoping Patrick Ness would give his classic twist surprises in the book, and he does give a little bit of that. Overall, I thought it was a really great read. Universal message everyone will go through. Yeah, it's just a really powerful, emotional book. So definitely check this out. So the next book that's rising a little bit in the creepy factor, I would have to give it to I Am Not a Serial Killer by Dan Wells. This is the first book in the series. I really like this book. I really enjoyed the twist, the double tap twist in the middle of it. Zombieland was on the brain while reading this book, but there's no zombies in this. It's definitely a bit more creepy. There is a little bit of violence. There is a little bit of graphic imagery in the book. I feel this could be targeted toward a YA audience for sure because the main character is 15 years old, John Wayne Cleaver. John's character, the main character in the book, he actually was more frightening than the actual antagonist in the book, I felt. And I felt a little bit empathetic and sympathetic towards the antagonist in the book, believe it or not. So John was definitely creepy. His thought process was... Overall, I thought it was a really quick, refreshing read. So the next book, guys, I would have to say upped in ante with the creepy, violent, graphic feature is I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. This is actually a collection of short stories, and I Am Legend, which is a novella. I was really disappointed though that the entire book wasn't the story of I Am Legend. On a creepy factor, it was like a 2. It had some violence in it. It wasn't really graphic. It was like at a 2 as well. So I Am Legend wasn't so bad in the horrifying aspect, but the other short stories, there are some pretty creepy stories. I thought the last short story, Person to Person, was extremely creepy. I Am Legend, I gave this an overall readable rating. Some of the stories not so readable, but I really liked the variety in his work. So the next book, guys, is The Passage by Justin Cronin. This is the first book in the series, if you can believe it. I would say the first 250 to 300 pages were the best parts in the book. There was a lot of great action, intensity, suspense around the 200-300 mark. That climactic point wasn't really reached again in the later half of the book, which was kind of disappointing. I was kind of sad I didn't enjoy it more. I just had a really tough time connecting with the majority of the characters. It wasn't so much violent as it was really creepy and graphic. There was some graphic scenes in the book. Yeah, it was kind of all over the place. I was hoping to like it a lot more. I unfortunately gave this an unreadable rating, but who knows, you might like it. So the next book, guys, this is the second creepiest book I've read this month, I feel, and that is On the Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. Creepy factor, 5 out of 5 for sure. Dr. Hannibal Lecter and Buffalo Bill definitely made that creepy factor. There is some violence with Hannibal Lecter, which was insane. On the graphic scale, I would give it a 4. So I thought this was really well done, fast-paced, action-packed. I really enjoyed that build up to the climax to the end. You are on that ride going up to the top of the apex and you can't wait to see what happens going down. It's an adult thriller book, so there's some crude language. I think that's what stood out to me most was the crude dialogue going on there. It's heavy in dialogue for sure, but I really enjoyed that aspect too, so check it out. So of course the scariest read, for me anyways, I read this month is The Curse of the Wendigo by Rick Yancey. This is the second book in the Monstermologist series. I really enjoyed this book. What impressed me most about this book and the series in general is how intense the horror aspect is for a YA novel. Learning about the Wendigo was super creepy and how it devours the flesh of humans, and it's never full. It has to keep eating and eating humans. The violence, high up there. You don't get to see a lot of it, but the graphic nature, totally high. It's like a 7 out of 5. It's super graphic. So far it hits all the spots in the gothic macabre horror I'm looking for. I really enjoyed this kind of horror. If you read this book and you read similar books, please let me know. So those are all the books that I read this month. 6 books. Oh my goodness. I'm never gonna do that again because my brain can only be filled with so much craziness, especially with the horror genre. I was kind of disappointed with the adult books a little bit. I felt the Monstermologist was more intense than the adult books that I've read. I don't know if it's because I was expecting more graphic, more violence in the adult books, but overall, I think a really good month. Anyways guys, I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye!